skill, she sees the cross effects of various functions in achieving success. She is a visionary leader who consistently engaged herself to the charter of the company's future. She is an adept at assessing challenges, breaking the challenge into component parts, and identifying the path required, be it operational or financial. Namita is overall strategic leader who uses her people skills, remember, to identify, develop, and retain leaders to help organizations to meet their challenges and goals. Very highly energetic, enthusiastic leader who strengthens include flexibility, adaptability in delivering various environment structures and industries. She thrives in new challenges and new environments. As an EVP, CFO, CIO, CAO, Namita has identified opportunities and risks and partnered very strongly. She is a trusted colleague of many great professionals, wherein she has been respected for her leadership abilities during good and tough times. Her success in leading enterprise ventures have resulted in speaking engagements at national conferences, being invited by featured speaker and author with CFO Alliance, a 7,000 strong CFO network advisory group, being interviewed by executive leaders, radio, and being hand selected by Candida CSOC, founder at Executive Leaders by Advisory Boards. I can go on and on. One of her recent appointment was the CFO and VP Finance at Medster Home Health Division. She was one of the 18 out of 220 executives selected by the CEO of $2.9 billion, wherein 22,000 employee base and Georgetown University faculty leaders for their inaugural executive leadership program. She served on the board of Medister VNA division as their treasurer. When I look at her career, it has been a very, very strong career. Right now, her current assignment, she is one of the most respected global business leaders at Aspen Institute and selected by CEO Walter Escon as the first EVP of Finance and Administration, Corporate Treasurer, and CFO. She established a new finance and administrative division which incorporated all financial and administrative services for a fast-growing company. Under her leadership, the quality of accounting, financial, investments, legal, contracts, corporate insurance, safety, security, human resources, IT, facilities, 1,140-acre conference campus services created an effective partner for meeting the institution's mission. Ah, Namita, my God, Namita earned her master's in financial and computer management at the University of Delaware. Prior to that, she is a master's in organization development at Osmania University with top rank and a gold medalist. In addition to two masters, she holds a certificate of executive leadership from Georgetown University. I was trying to find more and more about her, and then I could find that her next step is she says, I once heard, it is her words, I once heard that path of a leader is not easy, but it is an honor. Wow. Path of a leader is not easy, but it is an honor. She says, nobody forces you to be leaders. You choose it to take it with pride. She says, it's my mission. It's a calling for greater good. Embrace it, love it, learn from it, help others to achieve it. She says, I want to spend time getting into boards. She says, I am on national boards. In both, I serve in finance and committees chair. She also says that I want to give back to the society. I want to mentor, guide, strategize with various people. Whenever there's a need, I am available. I am highly impressed with your very strong background, Namita. Amazing.
Thank you. It's my pleasure and honor and humbled by the opportunities to help me do what I could do and hopefully can continue doing.
Fascinating. Namita, the format is I am going to be asking you certain questions. People are on Zoom, Global Talent TV, Facebook, and they're joining. Some have already joined. And once I am through, Namita, I would uh, request these people to park their questions, and I would like to take up their questions. Some of the people who are on Zoom, I will unmute them. They can ask their questions themselves. Ladies and gentlemen, Washington, D.C., 7 a.m. in the morning. Namita is with me. Last week, I had Dr. Suresh Gupta from Washington, D.C. with me on Wednesday series. And here is Namita again from Washington, D.C. There's a new wave in the U.S. with new president of America. So a lot of things are changing, and I am seeing that every day. I keep watching it. And here is Namita, where we will be talking to her and sharing, she will be sharing her journey of excellence as a woman. My first question, Namita, is that I understand you come from a very educated family. Your father had 13 degrees, engineer by profession. Your mom was first master's degree holder in the family. Wow, my respects. Such a profound family. I want to know about your childhood. How did you grow in that environment where it was all positive environment? Was there any challenge you got as a girl
Yeah, so DK, yes, the value systems I got from my family, from my parents, are great values that helps me directly, indirectly, knowingly, unknowingly, in so many different ways every day. And I'm forever grateful for that. They believed very strongly in education. My grandfather fought in the independence. So he believed everything should be desi. You got to go to a Hindi medium school. You cannot do anything English, etc. But my parents felt that without knowing English, without going to English medium school, without studying as hard as you can in the best schools, you may not be set appropriately for life. So they pushed for that. We were 4 siblings, me and my sisters and brother, and all of us got the best education that you could get. And everything at home was steered towards that. That was paramount. So we all did very well because of that. My eldest sister did very well. She's a professor right now. She teaches globally. And my brother was the CFO of DSL division in his 30s at AT&T. I did well. My younger sister did well in the scientific field. So we all turned out good thanks to that. So we had some great value systems in there. As far as the outside environment and society, yes, in those days, as I was growing up in the 60s and 70s, especially in India, there was a lot of discrimination. There sometimes, even today, I feel is some discrimination, but it's getting less and less, knock on wood, and hopefully that will continue, especially with people like you, DK, helping highlight the power of women. The power exists in so many different places, not just professionally. And highlighting that, getting the recognition for that, encouraging others to be able to do that and see that is going to be tremendous. So I commend you for what you're doing. So in the environment, whether it was in my own extended family, whether it was in schools itself, whether it was in the path from home to school, literally, as you took the ride, as you took the car, as you took the bus, the differences that you would see was night and day. How being a female, first because I'm a female, and second, I'm a child of my mother who's a female. So my grandparents with their culture, where they grew up and what they believed in, I was like not only second, third, fourth level off. So it became even more imperative to say, I can make this happen. I do not need a man to make it happen. And that's what set the path to say, be strong, have good values, do not take no for an answer, find a way to do what is needed in the world.
Fantastic. That's commendable. And I was told that, I mean, when I was trying to find out, that during your graduate days, you were not comfortable speaking in front of a class. You had a little fear in your mind. Now, I want to know because, the audiences who are watching you now and who are going to be watching you later, especially those women who will have some sense of fear. And here is one great personality of women power today in the world who had probably this fear of preaching. How did you mitigate that? How did you move forward? And how did you make difference to yourself? I think it's very important for us to know about it.
That's a great question. One of the things that some of the guiding principles I have are some of my personality traits. I'm competitive, I'm self-critical, and I believe in that success is not an option. So you got to find a way to be successful in whatever you do, small, big, day-to-day, tactical, strategic, whatever you do. Go with a positive attitude that you can do it. So when I see a challenge, my goal is how do I get behind it and how do I get over it? So I noticed while I was in school that when I would be asked to come to the front of the class and speak, I had this person, this invisible person or people sitting on my shoulders telling me, oh no, be careful. Oh, be careful how you're standing. Be careful what you're saying. You're talking too fast. You're talking too slow. You're not being engaging enough. And all these things that in the chatter of criticism. And you feel like, okay, why am I being called on? I really cannot do anything here. I'm really not giving any value. And I hated that. I cannot let that happen. I cannot let my heart palpitate so much that I feel like it's going to jump out. What do I need to do? So I thought back on some of my prior experiences. For instance, my grandfather, he taught me how to swim. And we had a natural spring, big well, almost like a swimming pool size well. And the way he taught me, put a rope around my waist and literally threw me in the water and said, he had the other end of the rope, so he'd make sure I don't drown, but he would tell me, it's all up to you, swim. So that's how I learned to swim. So I said, okay, what do I do to get over this fear? So I joined intercollegiate debates. That was a huge thing. So by joining that, we were given 10 minutes, we were given a topic, and we were told whether we would speak pro or con to that topic. You may not know the topic at all. You may totally believe in it, but you have to talk as if you did believe in it. And you have to get in front of an audience and have a debate on it. So that was huge. So I put myself in those situations again and again and again and again till I became comfortable. So that's how I got over that. And then after that, I got elected to be the secretary in my junior year in bachelor's of my college. And then administrative duties, being able to get out there, being able to instill plans that we had, all that had to be done. So that helped me. And then the following year, I became the president for the village. And then going on now, as you had mentioned, I have spoken at national conferences, I speak at board meetings, I present at committees, the whole fiscal status, the budgets, and so on. And so I'm comfortable doing that. So my takeaway is, when you recognize you have a fear of something, take it as a gift.
Wow.
And think about what you can do to turn that around. Take the lemon and make lemonade. How do you turn that around and make that your strength? And once you see that you can do that, it gives you more power and more wisdom to do it again and again and again.
Oh my God, that's a very fantastic statement, Namita. Take it as a gift. Ladies and gentlemen, and especially ladies, the women power who's watching now or who are going to be watching later, the way Namita is saying, take it as a gift and start working on it. And that is the beauty of life, and you learn from it. Amazing. And today, from that fear, she is speaking at international conferences around the world. Namita, I know you have been very meritorious student, gold medal in masters. I got information that some of the mentors, advisors, professors guided you to go for even IAS exam. At the same time, you were not happy while you were growing because you saw acute difference between wealth, genders, positions. I'm also told that you wanted to be a Krantikari, opposing society norms and create unfair differences, especially in those areas. How and what happened that you suddenly moved to US? Please share your this part of journey and finally moving to US.
Sure. So first, when my advisor in my master's program said that I should go for IAS after I finished my studies at the university, I thought he must be smoking something. Like, there's no way, how could I be an IAS officer, and things. But then, I got the pride in and says, heck, why not? So I started studying for it to go there. It was not quite tied to my social consciousness so much as what I saw in society. In order to make a difference, you had to be in a certain position that people looked up to, and then perhaps you were lucky enough to make a difference. So that's what I was going for, more from a broader perspective. From a societal perspective, when I saw injustice of any kind, but especially related to females, especially related to being economic status, rich and poor, depending on how servants were being treated versus the wealthy. As to me, everybody's a human being. So seeing that really made me very, very, very angry. A dowry system would make me very, very angry. Wow. So I would sometimes I would say, I want to get married in a family that asks for dowry, and then I'm going to go there and show them. So I had this thing like, somebody's got to be doing something, taking actions, and not just talking about it. So that I always had. So that's why I was going for IAS, not to make social change, but to impact policy change, if you will. So even today, where I work at the Aspen Institute, our mission is to bring about a just, fair, and equitable society. All our work is based on that. So those are the kind of missions and those are the kinds of deliverables that inspire me. Improvement in education, improvement for girls and females. That's what inspires me. Coming to the US, really, I came to the US was a huge surprise, not planned. I was very happy in India, didn't have any desire to leave or no dreams of leaving India. But I got married to somebody who lived and worked in the US. So lo and behold, I'm in the US now.
Wow. Namita, With your background, I am told that in the initial stages of your life, you get mentors. You got a very great mentor by the name of Richard Sharon, who played a good role in your life to help you to move to this journey of excellence. I also understand your life partner gave you a lot of freedom and empowerment to support you. While you have been in the corporate world, there have been men dominating. How, and even the older age people, how did you get into that fitment and still managed against all odds to be what you are today at one of the top positions of the organization?
Yes, so there's so many steps, and in some ways, when I start thinking and writing down those that have influenced me one way or the other, there are just so many. Because we live in a world where we're surrounded by amazing people, and sometimes, most times, people are out there to do things, say things that help you. And sometimes when people do things that are not as good, they also in a way are helping you, because it tells you that is not something I want to do. That's not the kind of person I want to be friends with, and that's a help too. So in some ways you can say the whole world really could be is a mentor of sorts to you, an advisor. But when I think of the ones that have had the most sustainable long-term effect on me, are those two gentlemen, that you mentioned. One was the president of a very large division of a huge health system. I worked for him. He was my boss. I worked for him for 11 years.
Wow.
So when he hired me, it was in healthcare, and two of our major funders in healthcare, national funders, are Medicare and Medicaid. And when he hired me, I didn't know anything about Medicare or Medicaid or what they are about or what it means or anything. So I asked him later, why did you hire me? I mean, I didn't even know the ABCs of this. So he said, I hired you because I saw in you a leadership capability, an ability to see problems and find solutions and implement them strategically and tactically. That's what I needed. As far as the actual technical knowledge, we had people who had that. What we needed was leaders. And throughout my time, I went to ups and downs, different cycles of the business where we were losing and then we were growing 20% a year. I mean, we went through all the ups and downs, and he always had me by his side. He wouldn't make any major decisions without consulting with me. So we were great partners. After I finished, and I left to my next job, he became a friend and stayed with me throughout, a mentor, and I could use him to talk to and saying, this is what I'm thinking, or somebody who could understand the corporate world and the politics of it, that I could vent to, and he would just give me the not the courage, but he would just help me by being a sounding board, and somebody who could be there that could pick up and say, I got to talk to Richard. This guy who's saying this is absolutely nuts. I just need to vent this out, and we'll talk it through, and then we'll get to a place and I can move on. So he was great from that perspective. He's since passed away, which I miss him a lot. But hopefully, I know he's in a good place. And the second person who also had sustained impact for my trajectory is my husband, my spouse. When you're married, a lot of what a person does is dependent on the other person, because you live with them. What they say, what they do, what they feel, it does affect you.
Sure.
And my husband had a vision when we first got married. Ours was an arranged marriage. One of my questions for him, I had 3 questions I was asking all the candidates. One of the questions was that I am going to study further. I already had 1 master's, but I'm going to study further, and I'm going to work outside the home. Do you have a problem with that? because I knew a number of men who would have a problem with that, including my father. So he said, no, it's up to you. And even today he says, it's up to you. So to him, it's not as if he guides or tells me what to do or what not to do, but he gives me the freedom to go in a direction where I feel, I need to go, and supports it, which is very, very helpful. So on to your second question, which was, what did I do working in a male-dominated world, especially when I started? I started my career in early 80s, and absolutely finance world had, I can't even remember even a single female in my circles at that time who was a financial executive. So they were white, Caucasian, gray-haired men, period. And their thinking was, this job cannot be done by anybody else. Their thinking was, math is not something females can do. And I said, yeah, you may be right. You may be able to do it in your head. Maybe you have that gene, that capability. But guess what? Now we have things called computers. We have things like programs like Excel now, used to be Lotus then, etc., that can do that work. Math does not make a good chief financial officer. A strategist, a leader makes one. And I had to continuously have to keep doing that, saying that. In addition to that, keeping a professional profile, dressing well. Those are additional things that females have to keep in mind, unfortunately. If you're not dressed well, if you're not dressed the part, if you're not having the right profile, if you're not speaking your mind, sometimes I'm told I'm like a dog with a bone. I take that as a compliment. If I believe something is right, I'm going to keep at it, at least till the other person says, I hear what you're saying, I understand what you're saying. However, I want to do something different, I'm good. But if I feel that they're not hearing what I'm saying because due to a bias that they have, I feel I owe it to them and to myself to make sure it's very clear out there. So continuing to do that. And then of course, at the end, the icing on the cake is when you're able to produce results based upon what it is that you were talking about. Next time there's a problem, they'll come knocking on your door.
Amazing. Very brilliant. And what you said right, that when you are delivering results, they will knock your door. Women power around the world, whoever is watching this program, mark these words from a respected business leader who has been working in a men-dominated area of finance, accounts, admin, and all the multitasking and multi-skilling, what she has shown is that when you really want to exhibit in this as a woman, you need to be proactive. And when you start delivering, they will knock your door. That's a very brilliant statement. And another part which was very important, which I certainly believe, which is very important for women, dress your part. Absolutely, not only dress your part as a dress, but communication. Attire plays a very important role. Communication, articulating your communication, and with the respectability. Ladies, there are some great men in the world to support you. Here is an example of men supporting and men knocking the door of Namita again and again.
Yeah.
Impressive.
One thing I would also say, DK, that I wish there were more females supporting females.
Oh, wow, that's a great statement.
Yes, because a lot of a key reason men have succeeded is because of the old boy network.
True.
I know you, I know you, I know your family, I know your friends. We went to school together, we stick together. You help me, I help you. Ladies are coming up now, they're being recognized more now, and they're not being pushed in the corner because they're strong. Not that long ago, if you're strong, you would get pushed in the corner because the man would not want a lady to be doing better, let's say. So, but if ladies are helping ladies, we've got to overcome. So it's not because I'm successful because you're not. It's because you are successful and I'm successful. There is an and there, not an or.
This is something very important for us to understand this evening. A statement made by a woman power who is a business leader of excellence, ladies to support ladies. And I have
Uplift.
also observed in my career of 32 years that we men support ladies a lot, and there are some ladies who are not supportive of ladies. And this happens in most of the corporate situations everywhere around the world. We are same, whether you are in US or Thailand or India or England, it is the same. My next question, Namita, let me go to your professional pursuits, huge professional pursuit. You could stabilize a company which was in bankruptcy. You were hand selected by, taking by among 18 senior executives to head a great position of honor which no others could do. You are into legal, compliance, real estate, human resource, capital projects, IT, multitasking, multi-skill. Finally, what is your USP as a professional? You are strong in your professional capabilities, driving the organization to the next level of excellence. What is your, I mean, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10. It's a it's a combination of so many skills. And each skill you have taken to the next level of excellence wherever you have worked. How come? How are you different? Let the ladies know, let the women power know about it. That here is one women power, Namita, making a difference to women.
Yeah, so thank you. That's a huge compliment. I don't know if I deserve it or not, but I think every person has that ability. So if you look at what is it that makes you strong and good and successful, it's and you go deeper into it as to why. So I'm good in finance. I was able to bring a company out of bankrupt, literally out of bankruptcy. We would have had to close our doors in maybe 6 months. Cash was running out, couldn't meet payroll. 18 months later, we had turned it around and every employee was getting a bonus. So when you look at that, you say, wow, you must be so smart financially.
Mm.
But I'd say, okay, fine, go deeper. We're so you what were you able to do? You were able to see why the cash was a problem. What were the things causing the cash problem? Then you were able to go deeper to say what issues over there were there in each of those. For instance, one of the cash problem was because the accounting system that was there, the debits and credits were not being done right. They were not done in an accrued fashion. I'm getting into finances, but getting it in an accrual fashion was done on a cash basis. In healthcare, you cannot do that. So we had to revamp that. I did not know what should be or should not happen at a technical level, but I knew that that system had to be changed. So I had to hire people with that knowledge to do it. I had to change the whole database that was keeping track of the receivables in order to do it. I had to get the right skill set of staff to do it. I had to get the right auditors to come in and audit. We had auditors at that time who were a very small company. And I remember the partner coming into my office, me as a CFO. He sits on the chair, he puts his feet on the desk and starts talking to me. And I tell him, put your feet down. And he said, I'm just relaxing. I said, I'm glad you're relaxing. I want you to relax, but put your feet down. And then I said, and that was not the reason. The reason was they were not doing a good job. And then I got a big firm in on a fixed cost basis to tell me all the things that they could find that need to be fixed. So why I say all this is because when you peel the layer of a problem, you get to those points that you can make a difference in. And you slowly start to pull those layers back on and create that new onion that's even better. I mean, that's a crazy analogy, but you know where I'm going with that. So keep going deeper into why you're strong. So once you know those are the reasons why you were successful, you can have a different onion. You can also go ahead and do the same thing there. Say, why did this happen? Is it staff? Is it systems? Is it process? Is it policy? What is wrong here? When I get into the next job, it wasn't finances. The finance department was fine. The problem was they were using the wrong metrics to evaluate their business. We had multiple offices and different metrics was important for the different offices based on their business there. So what was it there? How to help them see that? How to then provide information so they can track and trend it to improve. So it's again looking at the overall picture and then seeing what needs to be done. Where I am currently, very good, very strong organization, amazing people that work there, amazing people who we interact with at all different levels. We have a strong financial foundation, but I wanted to make sure, especially being Indian, we love to have safety and security financially speaking. We want to have a savings account that's going to protect us in bad times. I needed to build that here. Here, when finances were coming in to support operations, there wasn't that much of a focus. So I did that. I more than doubled, maybe even tripled the balance that was there when I started. And it was done quietly because I know people won't like to take money out of today to put away for tomorrow because they have a lot of needs every day. They want to grow, they want to expand, they want to do all that. So I had to create policies, get approvals from the right places and put that in place. How did that help us when COVID hit? A lot of companies were doing layoffs. They had to do layoffs because they didn't have money to cover themselves. We did not need to do that. And to me, I feel so proud of that fact that even though that is not something I can talk about very broadly or openly, because it's, it's not, like I said, it's never one person's efforts. But if the CFO didn't have the strategic vision and do that, it just wouldn't have gotten there. So that's the piece that helps to go forward and do it. So it's not really a rocket science. It's a way of thinking. It's a way of knowing that because of the impact it can have, success cannot be an option. You have to figure a way of how to get there. If not this way, try another way. If not that way, go another way. That's also another Indian characteristic, I think. We find ways to make things work.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. That's very interesting. And as an American Indian, still having those strong values of Indianization, I feel very happy to talk to you this evening. And tell me, Namita, you are an absolute impacting personality and driving your life to excellence personally, professionally, and also helping others to grow and grow. And when I see your leadership style, the way I understand, I feel you have been a lot of giver personality. That's what the leadership is. What are your key leadership traits you possess and you can tell other women to possess in order to be different in the world of business?
Yeah. So it's a challenge for the female in especially a couple of ways. One way, we cannot be soft. In another way, we cannot be tough. So it's like, what do you need from me, world? Do you want me to be soft and get the work done? Do you want me to be strong and get the work done? So you have to pick which one it is that speaks to you and stay true to that. Because if your personality is more the one to be more humble, be more a humble leader, a humble leader can also produce a lot of results. So stick to it and be humble but strong. If your personality is strong, you come out more loud, you come out more assertive. Don't let others tell you you're being too assertive and you got to dumb it down. That's who you are. Know yourself, believe in yourself, and go forward with it. And the second piece I would say is a lot of times, especially for those that are in their 50s, 60s, etc., and have grown up in an era where we were told that there's so many different ways because of which we can't succeed. We have these people sitting on our shoulder, right? So what we have to keep saying is, I'm not listening to you. Opportunity comes up, the answer is yes, I can do it. And then figure it out. You will be able to figure it out.
Beautiful, beautiful. Ah, my God, that's a great statement. Opportunity comes. Raise the hand. I am ready to take it. You don't know how to do it. Find out a way to do it.
Yes.
And that is the essence of moving towards a roadmap to success and excellence.
Yeah.
We all have 24 hours. It's how we use it that makes a difference.
Yeah.
We
And it's
all
not like you won't be, it's not like you won't be fearful. It's not like you're not gonna think like, oh my God, it's gonna come crashing down. It could be wrong. You could have those fears. You're human, it'll happen, it's okay. But say yes and try it. Like when I took this job on, I wasn't looking for this job. In fact, last few jobs I haven't looked. They found me, they came to me. This one, they came to me to get my thoughts on a restructure they were doing at the institute, saying, can this work? Can we put all these different functions in one division? Is it too much for one person to manage? So I told them the pros and cons and what I've done and what I've learned from it. So I said, come on down. Can you talk to my CEO? So we are thinking this through, because right now we have it distributed among different people and we are missing some of the synergies because it's distributed. So I said, sure, I'll come and talk to you, you're not that far away from where I was at that time. So I took the train and went down. And when I was going to meet with the CEO and they told me who the CEO was, Walter Isaacson, I didn't know who he was, which was probably a good thing because he's a celebrity in his own rights. He's the one who was the CEO of like managing editor for CNN, and he's written biographies like Steve Jobs. It's a brilliant guy. So I went there, and again, talking about being worried about speaking, I had no trouble with that, thank goodness, at that point. And we had a nice long conversation at the end of which he was like, why are we even doing anything else? Let's just hire her. She's got what we need, right? When that came about, I said, I'm really not looking for another job. I was happy where I was, but, and this job was 80, 100 miles away from where I was previous to that. I said, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to do it. This is an awesome opportunity. There is no way I can say no. Let's figure it out. So then we got another place to stay during the week in DC while I did the job, come back home on the weekend, and we made it work. But that's what we support from the spouse, say yes, take opportunities to make a difference.
Grab it, grab it, grab it is the message. And how to do it, there's always a risk in taking up a new job, in taking up a new assignment, but then risk-taking ability is done only when you start doing it. And you can practice, 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 keep doing, keep doing, keep doing, become perfect. That's beautiful. And challenges are there in any case. And we are talking about COVID. COVID actually gave us a lot of challenges, the entire human race. As I said in the beginning, tough, difficult, unprecedented. COVID 2019 rather. So I always say COVID 2020, but actually COVID 2019. Now I have a question for you. In this leadership style of during the COVID, you know, many crises came, and I always say we moved from crisis to courage to care to compassion to conviction, and some of the business leaders or political leaders could save lives, and in doctors as warriors could save lives. But I am specifically asking you as a CFO, as a great CFO, a question that this crisis has been tough. What is your message to CFOs around the world,
Yeah,
especially especially on the COVID in terms of business ability? While you spoke about not, removing any people and all that, what about the business ability?
yes, good question and very relevant. So, one of the things that is so important, I think my master's in psychology has always helped me think this way to say, in order for me to help the company I'm at, what's the best way for me to approach it? So I need to do ABC, but how do I go about doing that? When you talk about finances is going to be something you need to focus on, people are not going to focus on that. What they need to know is, how is my work, my mission, my program going to be affected? What am I going to be doing? What does it mean to me? And really, because we have, the way I counted, about 90 different some programs across the US, plus we have 10, 12 different international partners. Each one does things differently. So what I put in place is a ability for each of the programs to do projections. So I said, think about right now, there's guidance coming. Based on the guidance, where can you have your events? Where can you have your meetings? How can you have it? How many people can you have in there? Based on that, what assumptions are you changing? And then use those assumptions and convert it into your projection, operating budget projection. Once they did that, then saying, okay, based on that, here are the risks to the organization. Now is where I come in. I'm not telling them what it means to their particular business, but consolidated comprehensively. I'm going to need, we started at $22 million, we were going to be short in 1 year. What do we do? So I said, let's continue working this plan. Let's continue adjusting to it. And by the time we ended the year, we cut that in more than half. And every time we made those projections, we said, if this is the risk, where's the money going to come from? What are we going to do? Remember, I didn't want layoffs. So where is it going to come from? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? And we kept putting plans out there. At the same time, making sure the finance committee and the full board, and of course the CEO and the senior leadership team, they're all in sync. They're all agreeing. If they don't agree, we have a discussion. I make adjustments. So we're doing this together because it's not a one-person shop. This is literally every person at the company working to make this happen. So that's the financial kind of planning that we've done that has worked very well. But in addition to that, with my responsibilities, there's a human factor.
Hello? Hello, I lost you. Hello? Namita, are you there? Hello? Namita? I think, ladies and gentlemen, Namita got some issues with her internet, I suppose. She is not there. She should be joining back soon. In the meanwhile, I think, can you please park your questions and we can ask, yeah, Namita is joining back. Yeah, she's back. Oh, we lost you in between, Namita.
Oh,
You're
I'm sorry.
back. Okay.
So, yeah, so I mentioned the financial a little bit, then I said there's also a human aspect. Then there's also a legal. There are different requirements. So you got to keep that in mind, make sure that's going to be okay. And then even the space itself, when you open the offices, how is the space going to be structured so it's going to be safe? And then facilitating of hundreds of people working from working remotely, moving servers to the cloud, doing the cybersecurity, doing all those things to keep the work environment safe. So there are many aspects to going through the COVID, which we are still going through. It's not over yet.
Yeah, we don't know when we will be over from this. Did you, by any chance, did you go for the vaccination already or not yet?
Well, to tell you the truth, I actually was infected with COVID.
Oh.
And I recovered. It was a very mild infection. So I recovered fully. And I have antibodies because of that. So I don't need a vaccine.
You don't need a vaccine. You're right. Now tell me, when we look at, the world, and world has changed a lot last 1 year. And this is a quick question for you. Do you think people in the world, in the business leadership, their compassion has impacted as compared to what people were before COVID?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think in the US, especially, 2020 has been a unprecedented year in so many different ways. First, maybe even before that, we started with the Me Too movement. And then that was huge, a lot of impact, a lot of passion going into that. Then you had other things like Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
I was influenced by one of my staff saying a couple of things to me as I was talking to her, which made such a big impact that me, along with some other friends, colleagues in my hometown, we started a South Asians for Black Lives Matter group.
Wow.
Because he said, okay, this is something that we as an Asian community is not very tuned to. So what do we do? How do we get tuned to it? So some of it was my own learning, our own learning. Some people were more experienced and knowledgeable in our group. So more learning from it, so we can be more compassionate and be out there to support our neighbors, our friends, our people who are not neighbors, not friends. People could be strangers, but they are still people. To know and understand them, it was extremely helpful. So I think doing those kinds of things is going to be very important. And then looking at diversity is coming out huge. The spirit of working with each other is coming out huge. With the election of Joe Biden, I felt strongly enough that I actually was on phonathons making calls to the states to give information to citizens on how and where to go to vote. Who they vote for is their decision. It's not for me to influence. I'm generally not a political person. I don't believe in politics. But if I believed in something I thought was important for the citizens to go out and vote this year. So doing those kinds of things, that passion that's there in those movements was not there before. And when I look at our younger population, our millennials, I am so proud of them, not only in the US, but even globally. Like they're standing up for themselves, whether it's for climate, whether it's for politics, whether it's for diversity, whether it's for females, whether it's for doing the right thing for the future generations. I'm like, more power to you, more power to you. And they have the confidence and they have the ability and they will not take no for an answer.
Very great. Yeah, so these moments play a very important role. And I am going to talk about the moment which we are in. Women power, a global movement. 100,000 women on this platform by 2021, and I think we have gone to 800,000 already.
Wow.
So it's a big feat what we have done. And in fact, 1 million we are going to be having 2024 that time a mission. But I'm asking you, Namita, you have yourself been a woman and you have seen challenges, issues, broken it, and been at the top. What does that women empowerment means to you? And how would you know, differentiate when we talk about diversity, inclusion? How do you differentiate about this women power? And another point, would you like to support our women power movement?
I would absolutely support the movements. I'll say that up front first. And then when we talk about women empowerment, I think sometimes we need to call it that for this stage of the change. But one thing we got to keep in mind, it's empowering humankind. By even singling out women, it creates the man is more empowered than a female. It already creates that difference.
Sure.
So it's a humankind empowerment. Are there humans out there? Whether it's females, whether it is, I don't know, lesbian, whatever. Is there any human that's not being empowered? Let's look at empowering them, empowering the global human race. And if there are parts of the race that are not, let's do that.
Wow.
Yeah, and then the different, like I was saying earlier, the different aspects of the empowering. I mean, I see among women, among ladies, there's, as mothers, as entrepreneurs and business startups, as community builders, as people defending the country, as having technology contributions, as going out in space. We recently had the first flight from, I believe, it was San Francisco, from California, going all the way to Bangalore, which was an all-female flight. Attendants, pilots, everyone. Straight direct. So it's empowered. There's so many different places that part of human race is contributing so much. If we can highlight that, then we can see the power of the race. Otherwise, right now, we are seeing the power of, if we are lucky, half of them, half of the race. And are we only half as good, or are we fully good? That's what we need to understand.
I strongly agree with you. Women are not using their power. There's so much women have got power to take it forward. Ladies and gentlemen, amazing success story of an amazing human being, a women power, and the help of affairs of multitask, multi-skill with a great institution, Aspen Institute USA, making a difference to all of us. I have some audience asking you questions. Niti Sharma is asking, ma'am, what do you think about India today, Indian women?
What do I think about India today as it relates to women? I see some that are really pushing the way out of that glass ceiling and coming up there. I remember when I was growing up in India, the dominant males would say, India has equality. Look, we have a prime minister, Indira Gandhi, who's a female. I'm like, huh? And that is enough to say that there's equality across. Don't you open your eyes when you're walking outside? Don't you see it every day that we do not have it? So I see more people breaking that and refusing to fall in that mold. At the same time, the struggle many have to do that is unfortunate. The safety issues that are there is very unfortunate. Some things like going back decades when you couldn't go out late at night, you couldn't there's so many things you couldn't do because you're a female. You would think by now those things would have gone away, but they are still there. And we still have to look at that and say, we've got to create the right opportunity for the females. So I think that, again, the younger generations are going to make that difference, and they're not going to take no for an answer. And they need to just bring the older generations with them, learn from them, at the same time, carve their own path and not take no for an answer and say, we're going to break through and we're going to do this. And I believe it will happen. I have a very positive feeling about India and where India is going to go.
Wow, that's great. I have a question coming on from BB Butt. In diversity, is it passion and positivity that helps? Namita, for you. In adversity, is it passion or passion? Just a moment. Is it passion? Just a moment. Is it passion or positivity that helps?
In adversity, it's resiliency that helps.
It's resilience that helps.
It's resiliency. So when there is adversity, bounce back, bounce back, bounce back. Don't take that as the end all. Don't take that as the final word. Don't take that as the truth. Sometimes it may not even be the truth. Most of the times it's not. So being resilient and bouncing back. So if adversity happens, you fall off the bike, get back on it, get back on it, get back on it. And that's the best way to combat adversity. And that's the best success you can have. You can show the person who was creating that adversity that they could not put you down.
Wow, that's fascinating. Good response. I have another question coming in. Just a moment. Let me see this question. Manjeet Singh Taneja. Equality is the birthright of each person. And unfortunately, some do not expect this due to gender or race on social status. How do we educate those people? Thank you very much for your great presentation. How do we educate those people? Yes.
Yeah, thank you. It's literally just one step at a time. Is that onion? Anytime we look at the big issue or a problem, it becomes like you can't get over it. You can't take care of it. But if you do it like one step at a time, you can handle that. Can you say the question one more time, DK? I think I'm missing the guts of the question.
Equality is the birthright of each person. And unfortunately, some do not accept this due to gender or race or social status. How do we educate those people?
Yeah, you cannot win everyone either, right? So in my mind, if one person can impact one person, and then now you have two people, now they impact one person, now you have four people, that's how you impact it. So if you think I'm going to impact everyone, how do I do it? It's going to look like such a big mountain to climb. But 1 + 1 is the amazing impact that you can have. So DK, you're going to 1 million people to be showcased who can help, who can create the network, help each other. I'm learning every day. And if I can teach even one person, one thing that they can walk away with from today, I would feel I've done everything I wanted to do, right? Because that one person is going to take it too hard and maybe see if one of the ideas can work for them, right? So just to do that. So those that feel like I'm not equal, if there's somebody else who feels I am equal, but I'm struggling with it, understand why they're struggling with it and give some thoughts and ideas to help them see how to get over it. And then trial and error, one thing may work, it may not. You try another thing, and something will click in. And as soon as it clicks in, that person then can show that to the next person.
Wow. That is what Niti Sharma is also saying, that it's a chain process. Now, what I am doing is with various countries, I'm creating a chain process wherein it is being hammered every Saturday. Hammered. Sorry to use this word. We are hammering it, hammering it, hammering it. Nitish Sharma and Anshul does Women Power from Mumbai now. They have taken one Saturday from me. Shefali has taken one Saturday from me. Milani in Spain has taken one Saturday. They want to give me only one Saturday. So what I am trying to talk is a chain process. And I want to share with the audience. There was a guy I don't want to name. He was making a fun of me last 10 months that I am doing this women power and women power. Probably he could see that this is going strong. I just saw 1 week back, he also created something to do with women entrepreneurs. So that means when you do a great job, then it multiplies. So happiness always, give it back. Happiness always multiplies. We should multiply. One more question. I think we take the last question. And this is from Sridevi Kashyap. She says, ma'am, you have done so much in your life. I am a chartered accountant. Do you think I can also achieve what you have achieved? I am feeling sometimes disheartened being in India, that too in South India.
What I would say is that not only can you achieve what I've achieved, you can achieve much more. And you can achieve those things that you want to achieve, right? So look for opportunities. And when you look for opportunities, you start with one, and then before you know it, is it's a cascading effect. Another one comes up, and then another one comes up. So for instance, DK had another speaker, a friend of mine who you were interviewing, moderating, and I joined that. It was early morning, but she was a good friend. I said, I'm going to support her. So I joined in the call. And then the next thing I know, DK was calling me, and here I am. The next thing I know, he's saying, can I join in the movement? There you go. There's an example.
Absolutely.
So you say yes to something and other things open. You've got to be very careful what you're saying yes to. Because as soon as you say yes, one door opens and you step through that door. That door leads to a path. And then you go down that path and you say yes to them, another door opens. So you got to be careful which doors you want to open based on which path you want to take.
True.
But look for doors. Sometimes somebody comes knocking on your door. Sometimes you have to knock on somebody else's door. But keep asking, like I keep asking, I want to make a bigger impact. I want to join other boards. I want to look at other companies, especially that are globally, that I can bring a different perspective to, because I know I can. I know I can improve them. And I'm looking for those opportunities. So whatever chances I have, I tell people about it. If they have something that comes up, they have the ability to contact me, and then we'll see if there's a fit. So you knock on doors, you listen when somebody's knocking on your door, and they will open up. They will open up. I thought I had such a big full-time job, I could not do anything else. And then this opportunity came up to join a board. And I said, okay, sure, okay, fine. I think I can do that. You meet 4 times a year, I'll manage that. Then the next thing I knew, he said, would you mind be chairing a finance and audit committee? I'm like, that's going to require a lot of work. But okay, I'll do that. Then before I knew, another company found out about it. They reached out to me. So it's a cascading effect.
Beautiful. Very, very well said. And I must tell you, that's fascinating because of the fact, even in my life, I have seen that it has been always a cascading effect. And in fact, we have on the Facebook, even Mr. Manjeet Singh Taneja saying, hammering is the process. Even the constant rain drops make a dip on the huge rocks. Right. Great. Mr. Taneja, I think you are making a very beautiful and a powerful statement. And we need to keep these raindrops and hammering on. Ladies and gentlemen, we are already, my God, what a fascinating talk she had, a great journey of excellence of Namita Khasat. Namita, it's not only today we are going to be talking, probably there are going to be more opportunities for us to work together in some of the area. I don't come from finance. I don't come from IT. I come purely from human resources. People,
Yes.
people, people is my passion. And
Right.
this has been my, 32nd year of my career in people processes, business HR. And I believe that people make a big difference. And
Mhm.
the power of positivity, the power of perseverance, the power of passion, the power of persistence, the power of performance, the power of progress leads to power of pride. With that, I must thank you very much, Namita, for sparing your early morning time, 7 o'clock in Washington, being part of this global movement, Women Power, hashtag Women Power, a global movement, and sharing your thoughts. I am going to share this YouTube in next half an hour again to you, share with the world. Those who could not join and those who joined, thank you so much for being here. Those who could not join will get a YouTube and can see it later, raise questions, talk about it, spread the message that women power have the power of excelling in the world. In days to come, we should not talk about gender equality. We should not talk about women empowerment. We should talk about people, 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 people. Any color, any gender, any nationality, any religion. We all remain the same. One world, one people, and one love. That is what I can say. So, women power has to utilize and be fearless to move to the journey of excellence and create their own roadmaps and love the world even if you fail. To fall is not a failure. It is only when you do not get up again. Get up again and go. Get up again and go. Get up again and go. Go, grow, glow. That is what my message is. Again, at the end, thank you, Namita, for being with me. Wish you a great, wonderful Saturday. I know you would have slept on this Saturday and enjoy your Saturday with your family. It has been an amazing discussions with you, and God bless you. You are certainly a great women power, full of energy, excitement, thrill, and above all, you want to give away back to the community, to the society, to the country uh, where you live and where you are born, both India, America, and the global world. Entire world is in our hands the way we are in the global world today.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
Natan.
DK.
Thank you
Thanks for
very much,
everything that
Namita.
you're doing for the cause. Thank you and more power to you.
Thanks, Natan. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Ladies and gentlemen, good night in Asia Pacific and America, Canada. Of course, have a wonderful day. And in Europe and Africa, late good evening. In Australia, must be already sleeping. Good night. Bye bye.